Welcome everybody once again. So we are in our third class for module 6. In the previous classes we saw about yield moment, plastic moment, yield section modulus, plastic section modulus, what is shape factor, and we saw how to derive the shape factors for different sections. So today we are going to see about plastic hinge. So what is plastic hinge? So we know the condition for fully plastic moment. So when a moment is said to be fully plastic state. So fully plastic moment is considered to have developed at any section of a structure subjected to a system of loads when a section is completely yielded or plastified. So once the section is completely yielded or plastified under a given system of loads, we call the corresponding moment as fully plastic moment. So the fibers on one side of the equal area axis, if you are taking a rectangular section, okay, if you are drawing an axis, so this A1 will be equal to A2. So this axis is called equal area axis. So these are the fibers on one side of the axis and these are the fibers on the other side of the axis. These fibers are subjected to compression and here the fibers are subjected to tension. So compression and tension. So the fibers on one side of the equal area axis of the section are in compression and they tend to contract, while the fibers on the other side of the axis are in tension and they tend to expand. So see, when we are drawing the forces, compression and tension, it will be like this, okay? So these fibers tends to contract and here the fibers tends to expand. So the section acts like a hinge. So here there will be a hinge. So this is section, the section of equal area axis, or this section, sorry, not equal area axis, this section will behave like a hinge and this hinge is called plastic hinge. Okay. Now the plastic hinge is defined as an yielded zone due to bending in a structural member at which large rotations can take place at a section at a constant plastic moment mp. So plastic moment mp is the moment corresponding to the plastic stage, completely plastic stage. So at this stage, the bending in the structural member will undergo large rotations. So if you are taking, for example, if you are taking a simply supported beam with a concentrated load, the possibility of hinge is here. So at this point, when it is subjected to load, at this point, there is a possibility of formation of hinge. So this hinge will undergo large rotations. Okay, so at plastic moment, there will be formation of hinges and at the hinge, there is a possibility of large rotations. So these are about plastic hinges. So what is plastic hinge? How can a section behave like a plastic hinge? And due to plastic hinge formation for a plastic moment, there will be large rotations at the formation of hinges. Now, what are the different mechanisms? So we have different mechanisms for determining these hinges, how, where, at what places the hinges can be formed, etc. So a stable structure shall be able to resist displacement. So we know if a displacement is resisted, if there is no displacement after the application of load, then that is called, that is said to be, that structure is said to be a stable structure. Then there has to be a force corresponding to any displacement. So if there is displacement, there will be a force corresponding to that displacement. A displacement without resistance is called a rigid body displacement. That means you have a body here, you are applying a force without resisting this force. If the body is moving freely, then you call the displacement as rigid body displacement, because this body do not resist this force. So you call it as a rigid body displacement. It is the whole body is moved. Now, when an n degree indeterminate structures, you know how to find the statical indeterminacy. That is nothing but statical indeterminacy will be equal to R minus R. That is number of reactions minus capital R is the number of reactions, small r is the number of equilibrium conditions available. And if there are hinges, minus n. So n is the number of hinges. So this is called statical determinacy. So when there is n degree of statical indeterminacy, okay, when an n degree indeterminate structure develops n plastic hinges, it becomes determinate. So what do you mean by that? See, for a determinate structure, the statical indeterminacy should be equal to 0. So we know statically indeterminate structures are cantilevers and simply supported beams. So this simply supported beam is statically determinate. So if you introduce one more support, this becomes statically indeterminate to degree 1. Suppose there is a hinge, there comes a hinge, then this hinge will introduce one more equilibrium condition. So if a hinge is introduced, your statical indeterminacy becomes 0. So that is the meaning of this. So when an n degree of indeterminate structures develops n plastic hinges, it becomes determinate. If the statical indeterminacy is 2, the structure has to develop 2 hinges in order to make the structure statically determinate. If the statical indeterminacy is equal to 5, the structure has to develop 5 plastic hinges in order to make the structure statically determinate. So formation of an additional hinge will reduce the structure to a mechanism. So every additional hinges will form a mechanism. Okay, will reduce the structure to mechanisms. So hereafter, for finding the collapse load and plastic moment, we will do the problems based on mechanisms, based on the development of plastic hinges. Now, the load that causes n plus 1th hinge, to form is the collapse load. See, up to n hinges, if the statical indeterminacy is n, the formation of n hinges will make the structure statically determinate. And when there is n plus 1th hinge, so this hinge is responsible for the collapse load, for the structure to collapse. And that is called the corresponding load is called collapse load, because once a structure becomes a mechanism, it will collapse. So any n plus 1th mechanism, the beam or the frame, the structure will collapse. So most flexural structural frames such as continuous beams, portals, gables or a combination of the above can have rigid joints and mechanical hinges. Okay, so we know all the structures, they have rigid joints, and as well as there will be mechanical hinges also. So mechanical hinges is different from plastic hinge. So we will see what is the difference in later on. Okay, so mechanical hinges, it will develop mechanical hinges and it have rigid joints, but mechanical hinges are different from the plastic hinges. Plastic hinges are formed at plastic moment, corresponding to plastic moments. Okay, now plastic hinges modify the behavior of the structures much in a way in the same way as mechanical hinges. The only difference is that plastic hinges permit rotation offering a constant resisting moment mt, that is plastic moment to that rotation. So formation of every plastic hinges, they allow the rotation for resisting the plastic moment mt. So when there is an occurrence of plastic hinge, it permits or it allows rotation to resist the plastic moment mt. So for causing a rotation theta at a plastic hinge, work has to be put on it. Okay, so see, if there is a formation of plastic hinge, if this is a simply supported beam, formation of plastic hinge means it will be like this. This is a mechanism of formation of plastic hinge. That means there will be some rotation theta, right? So for causing this rotation theta, some work is done. Work, you know, work done is equal to force into distance. Force into distance mode. So some work is done on it. So the work W for causing a rotation of theta is equal to, and that work is equal to, see, we know work done is equal to force into displacement. So corresponding to force, we will have moment. Corresponding to displacement, we will have theta. So that is also equal to moment into angular rotation, theta. And this moment will be equal to the plastic moment, mp. So work W for causing a rotation, theta, is equal to mp into theta. And a mechanical hinge can therefore be treated as a plastic hinge when with mp is equal to 0. So the difference between the plastic hinge and mechanical hinges, for the plastic hinge, your moment for both the plastic hinge and for a mechanical hinge, your work done is equal to moment into theta. For plastic hinge, work done will be equal to plastic moment into theta, and for mechanical hinge, work done will be equal to this mt will be equal to 0. So work done will be equal to 0. So 0 into theta, work done will be equal to 0. Now we will move on to what is called types of mechanisms. So what are the different types of mechanisms possible? So very important. So hereafter this is very important to solve the problems. So what are the types of mechanisms? So you have independent mechanisms as well as composite or combined mechanisms. So independent mechanisms are of three types of independent mechanisms. They are called beam mechanisms, panel or sway mechanism. Sway mechanism is for frames. You know, when a frame is subjected to sway, this is called sway mechanism. So this is called beam mechanism. See, this is called beam mechanism. This is called sway or panel mechanism. And the last one is gable mechanism. Gable mechanism means when there is a frame, this failure will cause a gable effect. This is called gable mechanism. Okay, so these three mechanisms are called independent mechanisms: beam mechanism, panel mechanism or sway mechanisms, and gable mechanisms. Now, then next type of mechanism is, see, these three are individual mechanisms or independent mechanisms, and the second type of mechanism is composite or combined mechanism, that will be a combination of any of the independent mechanisms. That will be a combination of beam and panel mechanisms, or beam and gable mechanism, or panel and gable mechanisms, like that. So that is called a combined or composite mechanism. So first of all, let us see what is beam mechanism. So if you see beam mechanisms, for example, we can consider a simply supported beam. One minute. Okay. Okay, so for beam mechanism, if you consider a simply supported beam with a concentrated load W at the midpoint. Okay, so we know the statical indeterminacy for this beam mechanism is equal to 0. Sorry, statical indeterminacy for this beam is equal to 0 because statical indeterminacy, our R is equal to 2 and the number of equilibrium equation available is also 2. So R means here you have one R and here another one R. So two unknown reactions, and small r is nothing but sigma V is equal to 0 and sigma M is equal to 0. Since there is no horizontal loads, we are not considering the horizontal loads for beams. There are no inclined loads. So we are not taking sigma H is equal to 0. We are taking sigma V equal to 0 and sigma M equal to 0. So R is equal to 2 and the unknown reaction capital R is also equal to 2. So statical indeterminacy is R minus R. So 2 minus 2 we get 0. Statical indeterminacy is equal to 0 for this beam. Now, so how this beam, what is the beam mechanism? So here the beam mechanism will be like this. There will be a mechanical hinge formation at the simple supports. If the supports are simple supports, you will have mechanical hinges. So this beam, because of the formation of the plastic hinge, it will be coming like this. So this is plastic hinge. So this means plastic hinge, and these are the formation of mechanical hinges. And this is also a mechanical hinge. See, if there are simple supports, if the end supports are simple supports, there will be mechanical hinge. And at the place of concentrated load, you will have a plastic hinge. Okay, so this is beam mechanism for simply supported beam. Now, if there is a propped cantilever, okay, so this is a propped cantilever. So you will have a support at the free end also. And if it is subjected to the load W, we know here statical indeterminacy is equal to how many R? You have two reactions here. That is one vertical reaction and another moment. So you have two reactions here, two unknowns here. You have one unknown here. This vertical reaction is unknown. So R is equal to 3. And small r is equal to 2. That is sigma M is equal to 0 and sigma V is equal to 0. So statical indeterminacy is R minus R. 3 minus 2, it is equal to 1. Okay, statical indeterminacy is equal to 1. So if statical determinacy is equal to 1, see I forgot to tell you one point. Here statical indeterminacy is equal to 0. That means you can expect to have one plastic hinge. Okay, for the collapse load you will have one plastic hinge. Then here the statical indeterminacy is 1, so that you will have two plastic hinge. So at a simple support we will so at a simple support you will have a mechanical hinge. At fixed support you will have a plastic hinge, and you will have another plastic hinge below the application of load. So this is plastic hinge and this is mechanical hinge. Okay. So this is the beam mechanism for a propped cantilever. Now, suppose if you have a fixed beam, if you have a fixed beam like this, there is a concentrated load of W, the beam mechanism will be, we know. See here, there are statical indeterminacy is equal to, here there are two unknowns, one vertical reaction and a moment. Here two unknowns, one vertical moment and a moment. So 4 minus, R is 4, minus number of equilibrium equation is 2. So statical indeterminacy is 2. You will have 3 plastic hinge. So what are the 3 plastic hinge? At fixed supports 1, 2, and you will have another plastic hinge here. So this is the beam mechanism for fixed beams. Now we will see what about panel mechanism or sway mechanism. So panel mechanism or sway mechanism. So panel mechanism or sway mechanism, this occurs in the frames. So we know this is, suppose a single story, single bay frame is like this. What is our statical indeterminacy is equal to, you have a vertical reaction, a horizontal reaction and a moment. So totally 3 unknowns. Here also a vertical reaction, a horizontal reaction and a moment. So totally 3 unknowns. So R is R minus R. So R is 3. Here we are considering the horizontal moments or loads also. When it is subjected to, let us assume there is a load at the joint. So 3 minus, sorry, totally 6, right? Okay. So 6 minus R is 3. R is 3 because the sigma H is equal to 0, sigma V is equal to 0 and sigma M equal to 0. So statical indeterminacy is equal to 3. That means you will have 4 plastic hinge. So how will the 4 plastic hinge occur? So this beam will be moving like this. There will be sway, right? So actually our frame was like this. Now it has moved here. The places of occurrence of plastic hinges are 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So this is called, this type of mechanism is called panel mechanism or sway mechanism. Now the third type of mechanism is called Gable mechanism. So Gable mechanism means we may have a gable like this. So because of the collapse load, there will be the occurrence of plastic hinge. So here also our statical indeterminacy is equal to R minus R. So as the previous case, 6 minus 3, 3. So there will be 4 plastic hinge. So the occurrence of plastic hinges will be, so there will be a sway, Gable effect, a sway here. So actual structure will be like this. So the occurrence of plastic hinges are 1, 2, 3, and among these two, one will be a plastic hinge and the other will be a mechanical hinge. So here there will be a mechanical hinge. So totally 4 plastic hinges. So this is called Gable mechanism. And the next type is composite or combined mechanism. Composite or combined mechanism, it can have a combination of any of these three mechanisms, that is beam mechanism, panel mechanism and gable mechanisms. Any of these combination you can have, that is called combined or composite mechanisms. Now we will move on to the next topic called methods of plastic analysis. What are the different methods of plastic analysis available? So generally we call the as lower bound theorem and upper bound theorem. Lower bound theorem and upper bound theorem. So this so the method of plastic analysis can be static method and kinetic method. Static means still, kinetic means moving, right? So static method and kinetic method. So static method is also known as virtual work method or imaginary work method. Virtual work method depends on lower bound theorem. So here you will take the maximum value. So that is why you call it as lower bound theorem. Any value below that, you cannot take any value above that. Okay, so you call it as lower bound theorem. And second is kinetic method or mechanism method. You have already studied what is mechanisms, what are the different mechanisms. See, virtual work method is based on the principle that external work done is equal to internal work done. Okay, so based on this condition, the value is selected and that is called the lower bound theorem. Now, kinetic method or mechanism method, this is also known as upper bound theorem based on the mechanisms. If a problem is given for you, if a beam or a frame is given for you, you will consider all the possible mechanisms and you will take the least value for the plastic moment. That is why you call this as upper bound theorem. You will take the least value. Okay. Now, we will see both the method in details. So first is a static method or virtual work method. So this method is based on the static or lower bound theorem and it states that a load computed on the basis of an assumed equilibrium bending moment diagram. You all know what is a bending moment diagram, right? So we know to draw the bending moment diagram. So based on the bending moment diagram, the load computed in which the moments are not greater than mb. So the moments calculated will be not greater than mb. The moments are not greater than mb and these moments is less than or at the worst equal to the true ultimate load. Okay, that is why this is called a least bound theorem. The moment calculated will not greater than the plastic moment and the moments should be less than or at the worst equal to the true ultimate load, that is corresponding to the true ultimate load. The moment calculated corresponding to the true ultimate load, that should not be greater than the plastic moment. That is the meaning of that. Okay, so you call it as lower bound theorem because it is not greater than the plastic moment. Now, kinetic method or mechanism method, this is also known as upper bound theorem. This method is based on the kinematic or upper bound theorem and it states that a load computed on the basis. See, previous case it was the moment computed. Now it is the load computed on the basis of assumed mechanism. There, the first case, it is based on the bending moment diagram. So, kinetic method is based on the mechanisms, the assumed mechanism. So, the load computed on the basis of assumed mechanism is always greater than or at the best equal to the true ultimate load. That is why it is called the upper bound theorem. Okay. Now, What is the procedure for mechanism method? So first step is step-by-step procedure for mechanism method. This method, we are going to solve our problems using this method, and expected problems are solving the problems using this method. You can expect such problems for 15 marks or 20 marks in the 6th module. So first is locate the points of possible plastic hinges. So you have studied different mechanisms. So based on the mechanisms, you locate the points of possible plastic hinges. So the plastic hinges are likely to be formed. So where you can expect the plastic hinges? At the points under concentrated loads, points of supports, points of connections or joints, or points of maximum bending moment. So if you have a UDL, maximum bending moment will be at the center. So there you will have a plastic hinge. So if you have a concentrated load, there you will have a plastic hinge. If you have a fixed support, you will have a plastic hinge. If you have some joints or connections, as in the case of frames, you will have plastic hinge. Okay, so first step is locate the points of possible plastic hinges. The plastic hinges are likely to be formed at the points under concentrated load, point of supports, points of connections or joints, or points of maximum bending moment. Then second step is determine the number of possible independent mechanisms and combined mechanisms. So total number of mechanisms will be equal to, see, small n is the number of independent mechanisms. So small n is equal to capital N minus R. N is the number of possible plastic hinges, and R is the redundancy of the structure. So already we have seen statical indeterminacy is equal to R minus R, right? So statical indeterminacy is represented by R. So you can take this as R minus R equilibrium. So statical indeterminacy, redundancy is represented by R. So plastic hinges is equal to R plus 1, right? The number of plastic hinges was equal to R plus 1 was equal to the number of plastic hinges. So here the number of possible plastic hinges is taken as capital N. Small n is the number of independent mechanisms. So number of independent mechanism is equal to possible number of plastic hinges minus R. So plastic hinges, possible number of plastic hinges will be always greater than the indeterminacy or redundancy of the structure. Always remember, plastic hinges, number of plastic hinges will be greater than the redundancy of the structure. So find how many number of independent mechanisms are possible by using N minus R, number of plastic hinges minus redundancy. Now give the mechanism a consistent virtual displacement and work out the consequent displacements and rotations at strategic points. See, already we have discussed, if there is a possibility of occurrence of hinges, then there will be a work done. So you give a mechanism with a consistent virtual displacement and work out the consequent displacement and rotations at the strategic points, at the important points. So this displacement is possible because the loads move in a gravity direction and lose a certain potential energy. So certain potential energy is lost. So that we call it as external work done because of the displacement, because of the rotation, some of the external work, because of the external work done, some of the potential energy is lost. And the plastic hinges offer a resistance to this downward moments since the hinges has to suffer rotations consistent with the displacement. So because there is a formation of this plastic hinge has some rotation with some displacement. So this will resist the downward moment, this rotation. will resist the downward moment. Okay, because this is responsible, this is a connection point between this member and this member. So this has to suffer a rotation and therefore it will resist the downward moment. Now, so total work done at the plastic hinges will be equal to, already we have discussed, work done is equal to MP into theta. So total work done at the plastic hinges will be equal to sigma MP into theta, summation of all the plastic moments multiplied by theta, and this is nothing but the internal work done. And if the loads are greater, the external work done will be greater than the internal work done, because the displacement, the forces are given at the exterior fibers. So external work done will be greater than the internal work done. So that means the collapse occurs. So when your exterior work done will be greater than the interior work done, there occurs collapse. So the condition for collapse is external work done will be equal to internal work done. Anything beyond this, there will be a collapse. So this is the equilibrium condition for collapse. External work done is equal to internal work done. And this will tell us how much plastic moment is needed for the structural member to collapse. So by assuming this MB is, WE is equal to WI, that is MP into theta, sigma MP into theta is equal to the external work done. That will tell us how much MP is needed for the structural member to collapse. And this will also tell us what is the collapse load. So this will tell us two things. One, what is the plastic moment for the structure to collapse. Second, for a given plastic moment, what is the collapse load. Okay. Now the disadvantage of this method is the disadvantage of this method is that if there are n possible mechanisms, we end up with n values of ultimate loads. So the least ultimate load is the correct one. See, that means if you are considering the ultimate load, you have to consider the least value. If you are considering the plastic moment, you have to consider the largest value. Okay. So you will have n number of possible mechanisms. You have to solve, or you have to derive all the n mechanisms. Then see which is the least collapse load or which is the greatest moment. So the corresponding mechanism is the likely one. If we overlook a possible mechanism, we would be overestimating the collapse load. That means if we are missing any one collapse mechanisms, that may result in the collapse load. So which mechanisms we have omitted, that may result sometimes in collapse load. So we cannot leave or omit any mechanisms. We can only say that the actual ultimate load cannot be more than the least value obtained by this method. And that is why this mechanism method is called upper bound method. Okay, so nothing but see, in simple, if you are taking the load, you have to take the least value. If you are taking the moment, for the plastic moment, you have to take the greater value. So remember this, very important. If you are considering the collapse load, you have to consider the least value which you have obtained in all the mechanisms. If you are finding the plastic moment, you have to take the greater value from all the possible mechanisms. So that's all for you today. So in the next class, we will start solving the problems. Thank you.